repression of peaceful protest in each village. This matter is more urgent, than ever. So this is a policy resolution stating that the city affirms the First Amendment rights of environmental activists for us to vote on today. This is also consistent with prior council action supporting environmental justice protests and indigenous resistance. This is also a continuation of the city taking a strong stand in support of environmental justice. Just for instance, the city took formal opposition to the Line 3 pipeline and specifically stated that the city of Minneapolis opposes the construction of the Enbridge Energy Line 3 tar sands oil pipeline and calls on every elected leader with the authority to stop its construction to do so immediately. So this resolution falls in alignment with past policy statements that this body has taken up in support, especially in Black History Month, where our theme for this month is Black resistance and Black resilience, knowing that whatever proofs of change, the fact that I even get to sit on this dais is because someone had to protest 2 years ago, 50 years ago, and we want to honor that same tradition that got us the power that we want today.
Thank you, Councilmember Wansley. And seeing no further discussion, clerk, please call the roll on this motion.
Councilmember Shettime.
Aye.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellison.
Aye.
Councilmember Beasley.
No.
Councilmember Ray. Councilmember Goodman.
No.
Councilmember Walmsley.
Aye.
Councilmember Johnson is absent. Councilmember Osmond.
Aye.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Councilmember Costi.
Nay.
Vice President Wilson.
No.
President Jenkins.
Nay.
There are 6 ayes and 6 nays.
That motion fails. And so.
Shame on you. Shame on you. It's your. The quotas are coming back. We're gonna be back. This is our land. We're on 1805. Here's your land. We're coming back. Make the right decision on our vote.
Councilmember Chavez is also in the queue for his second speech. I apologize, Madam President. Wanted me to run speaker management and Senator Soder.
Thank you, Clerk Call. Thank you, Council President. I would like to make the second motion, and I would like to make a motion to amend the agenda to include under the order of new business a legislative directive related to the Hiawatha Maintenance Facility Campus Expansion Project to end the story once and for all. So, I need a second.
Second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Shettime.
Aye.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellison.
Aye.
Councilmember Beaton.
No.
Councilmember Rainbow.
No.
Councilmember Goodman.
No.
Councilmember Walmsley.
Aye.
Councilmember Johnson is absent. Councilmember Osmond.
Aye.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Councilmember Costi.
Nay.
Vice President Palmisano.
No.
President Jenkins.
Aye.
There are 7 ayes and 5 nays.
That carries, and will be added to the agenda. Now I will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Shettime.
Aye.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellison. Councilmember Beasley.
Aye.
Councilmember Rainbow.
Aye.
Councilmember Goodman.
Aye.
Councilmember Walmsley.
Aye.
Councilmember Osmond. Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Councilmember Costi.
Aye.
Vice President Palmisano.
Aye.
President Jenkins.
Aye.
There are 12 ayes.
That carries, and the agenda is adopted. The next item of business is acceptance of the minutes from our regular meeting on February 9th and our special meeting on February 17th. May I have a motion to accept those minutes?
So moved.
Second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Shettime.
Aye.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellison.
Aye.
Councilmember Beaton.
Aye.
Councilmember Rainbow.
Aye.
Councilmember Goodman.
Aye.
Councilmember Walmsley.
Aye.
Councilmember Osmond.
Aye.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Councilmember Costi.
Aye.
Vice President Palmisano.
Aye.
President Jenkins.
Aye.
There are 12 ayes.
That carries, and those minutes have been accepted. Next, we have the referrals of petitions, communications, and reports to the proper committees. May I have that motion, please?
So moved.
Second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Shettime.
Aye.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellison.
Aye.
Councilmember Beaton.
Aye.
Councilmember Rainbow.
Aye.
Councilmember Goodman.
Aye.
Councilmember Walmsley.
Aye.
Councilmember Osmond.
Aye.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Councilmember Costi.
Aye.
Vice President Palmisano.
Aye.
President Jenkins.
Aye.
There are 12 ayes.
That carries, and The next order of business is reports from our standing committees, beginning with the Business Inspections, Housing, and Zoning Committee. The report will be presented by the chair, Councilmember Good.
Thank you, Madam President. The Business Inspections, Housing, and Zoning Committee is bringing 7 items forward for approval today. Item number 1 are appointments to the Zoning Board of Adjustment. I'll note that these are appointments for Peter Ingram, as well as Ann Callahan, Sally Vance Porsche, and Annie Wang. Item number 2 is granting an appeal for a variance at 3501, 3515 Zenith Avenue South. Item 3 are the liquor license approvals, and 4 are the liquor license renewals. Item number 5 is the Minnesota Housing Impact Fund grant for the development of homeownership housing. Item number 6 is homeownership works, indirect subsidy procedural change. These are changes we're making to the process in order to make it easier. And item number 7 is the rezoning of the Upper Harbor Terminal. With that, I'll move items 1 through 7 for approval this morning.
Thank you, Councilmember Goodman. Councilmember Goodman has moved that committee's report. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Shettime.
Aye.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellison.
Aye.
Councilmember Deaton.
Aye.
Councilmember Rainville.
Aye.
Councilmember Goodman.
Aye.
Councilmember Walmsley.
Aye.
Councilmember Osmer.
Aye.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Councilmember Koski.
Aye.
Vice President Palmisano.
Aye.
President Jenkins.
Aye.
There are 12 ayes.
That carries, and the report is adopted. We have a report from the committee of the whole. That report will be presented by the chair, Vice President.
Thank you, Madam President. To the voting meeting on February 21st, we have a legislative department update offered by myself and Councilmember Walmsley that corrects the Chairman Auditor report review, our building structure subcommittee, regularly starting May 9th, how to define, clarify, and strengthen the professional support provided by our respective offices to ensure effective support for the City Council's official legislative policy making and oversight functions. In addition to that is the motion that is before you on the dais. Goes along with this, and it is exactly what I spoke about at City of the Whole. Ask for a joint meeting with the Children Commission's government structure work group to identify and prioritize any future potential or recommended amendments to the charter that will be needed to fully implement our government structure. And both of those items.
Council Vice President Palmisano has moved that committee's report. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Shettime.
Aye.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellison.
Last week on committees joining here at
Councilmember
the
Rainville.
City Council in Minneapolis.
Councilmember Walmsley.
On the agenda, they put a revote about the demolition of the roof depot.
Councilmember Koski. Vice President
It's looking like a
Palmisano.
vote will be along the same lines, and so we'll see if the mayor vetoes it again. But we are here, we are live. Thanks for
Thank you.
joining us.
That
I have to be quiet, I
report
get kicked out.
accepted, and next we have a report from our Policy and Government Oversight Committee, presented by the Chair, Councilmember Wilson.
Thank you, Madam President. The Policy and Government Oversight Committee is bringing forward 19 items that is recommending for approval. 1 is the passage of an ordinance related to the appointed position in the City Attorney's Office, Managing Attorney of Implementation. 2 is adopting fines for additional appointed positions in the Information Technology Department, Director IT, Director of IT Services. 3 is passage of a resolution for gift acceptance for the National Environmental Health Science Protection Accreditation Council for travel and lodging expenses. 4 is the passage of a resolution for gift acceptance from various entities for travel and lodging for health department staff. 5 is accepting a federal fiscal recovery fund for shelter grant for sanitation services. 6 is accepting the low bid for Minneapolis Convention Center video surveillance system upgrade project. 7 is accepting the low bid for the Upper Harbor Terminal Dowling Avenue North construction project. 8 is accepting the low bid for signals, storm sewer, and curb ramp improvement project. 9 is authorizing contracts with public art project managers for the 2023 through 2026 public art manager pool. 10 is authorizing contract for vehicle auction services. 11 is authorizing contract amendment with OneNet IT Solutions LLC for providing outsourced managed IT services. 12 is authorizing contract amendment with NDN Systems Corporation to provide hosting and professional services for the LIMS CRM application. 13 is authorizing contract amendment with Formation Studio LLC for repairs to the ceiling above the suspended lobby sculpture in the new public service building. 14 is authorizing contract amendment with NDN Healthcare System Inc. for team parent employment and training services. 15 is authorizing master contracts for 2023 through 2025 for eligible provider health services. 16 is authorizing master contract amendment with Tree Trust for environmental tree services. 17 is authorizing master contract amendment with the link for juvenile supervision center. And 18 is approving legal settlement. That's Hillary Richard versus City of Minneapolis and Oscar Messias. And 19 is approving a legal settlement with City of Minneapolis versus Daniel Payne and Para. With that, I'll move approval of the committee report.
Thank you, Councilmember Ellison. Councilmember Ellison has moved the approval committee report. Is there any discussion? Councilmember Watson.
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to make a comment on item number 20, another settlement. I just want to name for the public that this settlement is yet another instance of police permanently wounding someone during the summer of 2020. It's 2.5 years later, and taxpayers are still footing the bill for police misconduct every single day. I want to raise that because, in the coming months, we will have serious opportunities to systematically address police misconduct through the MDHR consent decree that's coming. But we'll also have an opportunity to address this through the police contract that's also supposed to be expiring this year. Those are two huge tools that we have in front of us to make sure that MPD does not continue this pattern and practice of violating human rights, and that, prevents taxpayers from having to pay for the misconduct of our police department when they do so. So I just wanted to put that on public record. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Wansley. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Showtime.
Aye.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellison.
Aye.
Councilmember Beaton.
Aye.
Councilmember Rainbow.
Aye.
Councilmember Goodman.
Aye.
Councilmember Wansley.
Aye on all items except number 18.
18 or 19?
Sorry, my bad. Next one.
18. Councilmember Osmond.
Aye.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Councilmember Koski.
Aye.
Vice President Palmisano.
Aye.
President Jenkins.
Aye.
There are 12 ayes.
And carried, that report is adopted. Our next report is the Public Health and Safety Committee, which will be presented by the Chair, Councilmember Vital.
Thank you, Madam President. The Public Health and Safety Committee is bringing forward 2 items. Item 1 is considering the mayor's nomination of Damone Chaplin to the appointed position of Commissioner of Health for a term ending January 2026. This item was sent forward without recommendation. And item 2 is accepting a grant from the Food and Drug Administration to create videos in 3 languages on hand washing. I'll move for approval of both items on the committee's report.
Thank you, Councilmember Vital. Councilmember Vital has moved that committee's report.
No, I'm sorry. I'm going to move approval of item 2 as recommended by the Public Health and Safety Committee, and I will pull item 1 for further discussion. Sorry.
Okay, Councilmember Vital has moved item number 2 of the Public Health and Safety Committee report and pulled item number 1 for further discussion. There were 3 items.
No, it's only 2.
There's only 2
There's
items.
only 2 items.
The first item is the consideration of the mayor's nomination, as the chair mentioned. The second item relates to the FDA grant. So there's the 2 items from DHS they've reported.
So as stated, Councilmember Vital moved item number 2 and requested to have a discussion on item number 1. Clerk, please call the roll on item number 2.
Councilmember Showtime.
Aye.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellison.
Aye.
Councilmember Beaton.
Aye.
Councilmember Rainbow.
Aye.
Councilmember Goodman.
Aye.
Councilmember Wansley.
Aye.
Councilmember Osmond.
Aye.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Councilmember Koski.
Aye.
Vice President Polisano.
Aye.
President Jenkins.
Aye.
There are 12 ayes on item number 2.
That carries, and item number 2 is adopted, and I will now return to Councilmember Vito.
Thank you, Madam President. Item number 1 was moved forward without recommendation. We did have a public hearing for Mr. Jamal Chaplin. I will not be supporting the nomination today, so I wanted to pull the item for that reason.
Thank you, Councilmember Vito. Is there any discussion, Councilor Polisano?
Thank you, Madam President. We do need a motion on this, and I appreciate and respect Councilmember Vito's choice to not want to move this forward. I will put forward a motion for approval of the appointment of Jamal Chaplin for Commissioner of Health.
Thank you, Council Vice President Polisano has moved item number 1 of the Public Health and Safety Committee, which is the nomination of Jamal Chaplin for the appointed position of Commissioner of Health for a term ending January 26th. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, so please call the roll.
Councilmember Shenton.
Aye.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellison.
Aye.
Councilmember Vito.
No.
Councilmember Rainbow.
No.
Councilmember Goodman.
No.
Councilmember Wansley.
Aye.
Councilmember Osmond.
Aye.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Councilmember Koski.
Aye.
Vice President Polisano.
Aye.
President Jenkins.
Aye.
There are 9 ayes and 3 nays.
That carries, and item number 1 will be forwarded to the proper committee.
Item number 1 was just passed, and so we'll
Sorry.
submit that to the mayor for his consideration and approval.
Item number 1, my apologies. We have dispensed with the Public Health and Safety Committee report, and we will now move to the Public Works and Infrastructure Committee, and that report will be presented by the Vice Chair, Councilmember Koski.
Thank you, Madam President. The Public Works and Infrastructure Committee is bringing forward 8 items for recommended for approval. Number 1 is approving the 4th Avenue South Street resurfacing project. Number 2 is approving the Bloomington Avenue South Street resurfacing project. Number 3 is approving the Follow East and Northeast Residential Street resurfacing project. Number 4 is approving the 37th Avenue Northeast Street reconstruction project. Number 5 is approving the list of routes and dates for the 2023 Minneapolis Open Streets. Number 6 is authorizing a sub-grant agreement with the Division of Homeland Security for the Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities program. Number 7 is authorizing acceptance of a gift of a carbon capture unit from Center for Energy to pilot emerging greenhouse gas emissions reduction technology. And number 8 is approving a legislative directive providing a high-level analysis of potential city-led sidewalk, snow, and ice removal programs that can be fully implemented by winter of 2027. I move approval of all 8 of these items.
Thank you, Councilmember Koski, and Councilmember Koski has moved that community report. Is there any discussion? Councilmember Wansley.
Thank you, Madam President. So I'm really excited to bring forward the item number 8, which is the municipal sidewalk plowing analysis with Councilmember Chuckside. This has been a priority of my office since we started this term, and we've had a lot of intentional conversations with community groups, residents, city staff, and local and national experts on climate resilience. And now that we're experiencing a record-breaking blizzard, I want to emphasize that moving forward with this now is part of ensuring that our city is ready to respond to the coming impact of climate change. I know that while there is widespread support on advancing a municipal sidewalk plowing program, there is still understandably a lot of questions. And I just want to take a quick moment to just go over the legislative directive and explain some of the rationale behind some of the ideas. So this directive is meant to guide a policy conversation of how the city can advance a municipal sidewalk plowing program This has been a conversation that predates myself and many of my colleagues that are here today, but I'm excited to continue this work with the council and have a year-long conversation of how we can potentially roll out a phased-out program. It's also an opportunity to thoroughly discuss the opportunities and challenges that will come with the new program and have an honest conversation with our constituents about how they would like the city to move forward. So after holding many conversations about this with our community members and constituents, there seems to be collective agreement that, we need to move forward in this directive, and also especially focusing on prioritizing the pedestrian priority network, which I would love to see, take precedence in a phase out. But either way, I'm looking forward to this analysis coming back in June, so my colleagues and I can spend hopefully a lovely summer engaging the community on next steps and how they envision a potential program moving forward. But in the meantime, I also look forward to the monthly updates on progress regarding this directive from our public works staff and having these continuous conversations with our constituents and community members. So I just wanted to share that. And again, thank you, Councilmember Chuck Hyde, for all of your labor of love and work around this too.
Thank you, Councilmember Wansley. Any further discussion? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Shuttown.
Aye.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellison.
Aye.
Councilmember Vitoff.
Aye.
Councilmember Rainbow.
Aye.
Councilmember Goodman.
Aye.
Councilmember Walmsley.
Aye.
Councilmember Osmond.
Aye.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Councilmember Koski.
Aye.
Vice President Polisano.
Aye.
President Jenkins. There are 12 ayes.
That carries. Enact report is adopted. That completes the reports from our standing committees. Next is the notice of ordinance introductions. There are 2 items that's listed on the printed agenda.
Again, we
Number
are
one,
here in Minneapolis
Councilmembers
City
Chavez
Council.
and Payne
They put on the agenda a
notice
revote of the demolition of the Roof Depot,
housing,
and right now we're going through all the agenda before we get to that new agenda item. So bear with us. I guess you're watching what democracy looks like here in Minneapolis, I guess.
And then
It's
number
represented
2
democracy.
is Councilmember Johnson's notice to amend 3 areas of the code: health and sanitation, housing maintenance, and water, stormwater, and sanitary sewers to reflect amendments to code citations related to the water and sewer code revision that was adopted last year. Those notices are hereby given and no further action is required at this time. Next we have our introduction and referrals calendar. First, pursuant to notice, Councilmember Osmond will be introducing and giving first reading to the subject matter of an ordinance amending Title 13 to the code to amend regulations to provide a limited license spacing exemption for tobacco dealer licenses for qualifying commercial malls, which will be referred to the Business Inspections and Zoning, Business Inspections, Housing and Zoning Committee in the next cycle. Second, pursuant to notice, Councilmembers Chuck, Ellison, and Osmond will be introducing and giving first reading to the subject matter of an ordinance amending Title 15 of the code to amend the noise violation exemption related to sounds associated with religious worship, which will be referred to the Public Health and Safety Committee in the next cycle. And finally, pursuant to notice, Councilmember Goodman will be introducing and giving first reading to the subject matter of 11 code amendments, all related to the land use rezoning study to implement policies in conjunction with Minneapolis 2040, which will be referred to the Business Inspections, Housing and Zoning Committee in the next cycle. Are there any questions from my colleagues? And I see Councilmember Chavez is first in queue.
Thank you, Council President Jenkins. This is in regards to the notice of introduction. Councilmember Payne, Rec Services, and I are working on amending our current skateboard ramps and structures ordinance related to the prohibition of skateboard ramp or structures. Our core ordinance says that they are noisy, ugly, and harm property values, So we're working to make changes that will ensure there's exceptions to this ordinance, to this prohibition, to make sure that it does not apply to non-permanent movable speed programs for 4 feet or higher. We see this as a public benefit that can also help our youth in regards to making sure that they have things to do in regards to doing things that we don't want them to be doing. So, if Councilmember Payne wants to make a few comments as well, I think we're both working on this together and making sure that we can expand this exception.
Thank you. Councilmember Palmisano.
I'll yield to Councilmember Payne because it's on the same topic as the
That's fine.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, President Palmisano. Yeah, I'm just excited to work on this. This is part of what I think is really important for us to do, is just be in touch with what's going on in the community today, and take an interrogate all of our old ordinances that are maybe not treating our community the way that it needs to treat them. So skateboarding is a pretty mainstream activity nowadays, and I think our ordinances should reflect that.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Thank you. In addition to some of the other work going on in these other codes in our city, I did want to just make mention about the introduction and referral calendar. Councilmember Goodman's numbers 3 through 11. We've received an awful lot of outreach, my office, some of the other council offices, and the mayor's office in regards to a sauna establishment in my ward. And I just want to make sure that people understand that their use and ability to operate in defined corridors throughout our city is covered in this land use rezoning study. I think that we want to appreciate and uplift health and wellness businesses in our community. Those health and wellness establishments can really enhance our city, and we're also going to need to figure out how to do this in environmentally sensitive ways. So that effort is in progress, but the zoning change and the removal of the language from the 1960s, and people are reaching out to us, will do in the land use rezoning study changes. And thank you to Councilmember Goodman for sponsoring that work.
Thank you. Councilmember Goodman.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm sorry to have to talk about this again, but I do think that there's some confusion, and I'm hoping to be able to clear up the confusion by these comments. In the past, you had a zoning category like R1, very low density, to R6, very high density, commercial 1, commercial low density, to commercial 3, commercial high density. All of that has been replaced with a new system, a more progressive system called the built form zoning system. And as a result, the 2040 plan already adopted the zoning categories throughout the city. What this portion that we're moving forward now on is what would be allowed within those uses. So where can you first have a tobacco shop? Where can you first have a coffee shop? It is not an opportunity to revisit the interior 1, 2, and 3, the commercial 1, 2, 3, and 4 designations. Should there be concerns about where these designations have been put within the code, what would be required is a comp plan amendment. And we know what that process is, and I know a lot of people in the room actually know what that process is, because there was an effort by some of the folks at Little Earth to rezone an R2 property. It actually transferred into an interior 1 property, and we had to do a comp plan amendment to allow this food system to happen, and that required a lot of work on behalf of the community as well as the council members and the planning staff. It also required 9 votes, and we did it earlier in the year. We also have had other comp plan amendments. There was one in Councilmember Rainville's ward on Van Buren. I'm sure everyone's aware of that. Same kind of thing. So when we bring these issues forward now, this is not about where interior 1, 2, and 3 is located, or commercial 1, 2, and 3. It's about what uses would be allowed within those categories. And so I see everyone's already glazing over. You are likely to be getting calls and comments from people who are unhappy with the base zoning that has already been approved, and this process is not to revisit that base zoning. The process is to figure out what uses would be allowed. And I'll remind everyone that triplexes are an allowed use within the interior 1. There is no lower zoning than that. And what we're trying to figure out now is what would be allowed within the other districts. This is going to go through a process that staff have already extended the public comment period for another 30 days. The Biz Committee, by virtue of not having a zoning and planning committee, is going to be taking this up, and I just want to be able to provide as much information to everyone as possible as we move through this process. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to Councilmembers Rainville, myself, and Osman, who have been working collaboratively with staff on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Goodman. Seeing no further discussion, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll for these introductions.
Councilmember Shetton. Aye. Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellison.
Aye.
Councilmember Beaton.
Aye.
Councilmember Rainbow.
Aye.
Councilmember Goodman.
Aye.
Councilmember Watson.
Aye.
Councilmember Osmond.
Aye.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Councilmember Koski.
Aye.
Vice President Palmisano.
Aye.
President Jenkins.
Aye.
There are 12 ayes.
That carries, and those ordinances are referred to committees in the next cycle as indicated on the agenda. Our next order of business is new business, and that would be Council Member Chavez's motion.
Madam President, if I can just redirect us a little bit, we actually have a motion that got added, the two from Chavez that are in your packet. The first one is unfinished business, and my apologies for having that out of order. Unfinished business comes before new business. So the action that was approved in adopting the agenda at the beginning of the meeting was to add under the order of unfinished business a proposal that would rescind prior council action 2023A0072. This is related to the contract with Rachel Contracting LLC for the Hiawatha Public Works Phase 2 demolition project. The action is shown at the bottom of that page that ends it. So this is a motion by Councilmember Chavez essentially to rescind and terminate that prior contract that was authorized by council for that scope of work related to the Hiawatha Public Works campus, city-owned property at parcels located at 1860 28 East Street East and 2717 Longfellow Avenue South.
Thank you for Carl and for that explanation. And so we are currently on unfinished business. And we have a motion by Councilmember Chavez.
Second.
Is there any discussion, Councilmember Chavez?
Thank you, Council President Jenkins. I want to begin by acknowledging my East Phillips neighbors and Little Earth residents who showed up today asking for help. East Phillips is nearly 77% people of color, and they decided to come here today to fight for their lives during a blizzard and during work time hours. There has been tension around this project for years, and it's clearly stated that my community is in fear and is greatly frustrated. I am using the last two legislative tools at my disposal to protect my community. The community I was born and raised in as a child of East Phillips, 2 blocks away from Little Earth. I wear that on my chest loud and proud. When my community hurts, I hurt. And when my community cries in fear, I cry in fear. And when my community asks for help, I show up and help.
Excuse me, can we just have one conversation, please?
Let's listen to our council member, please.
The recent occupation, 50 police officers being directed to arrest my community, and the tensions rising in the 9th Ward, it is clear that we need to end this before my people get hurt. I was present at the location on Tuesday where the community was at. I was talking to my friends, my colleagues, my community members, and even the Minneapolis Police Department to help reduce the amount of officers that were there at the community site. I inherited this project from a former predecessor of mine, and the last few days taught me that we need to get back to the source of where we no longer align with the community. I think that today we can correct our wrongs and move forward, and this first vote is to end the breach of contracting to allow for the rescinding of that action. And if my colleagues want to speak to that, I'll go up to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Watson.
Thank you, Madam President. So over the past 8 years, the community has repeatedly urged the city to take their needs and perspectives seriously. In the last year that I've been in office, I and some of my colleagues under the leadership of Councilmember Chavez here have repeatedly amplified the need to address resident fears about the long-term health impacts of the demolition and of the city's proposed Hiawatha project. We have done so because we trust residents and we believe in their needs and their rights. We have also done so because we know that Minneapolis residents have a long, powerful history of exercising our First Amendment rights when faced with oppressive and harmful behavior by the city. The community has repeatedly and clearly have expressed that they do not support the city's Hiawatha expansion. It is confusing how any city leader could think that, by moving forward with the demolition without the consent of the community could end in anything other than protest. And this body has supported communities, especially those of color, in exercising their First Amendment rights to resist state-sanctioned violence, as well as violence enacted by big business. And though this body just voted to formally not recognize our resolution supporting the First Amendment rights of environmental activists, I do want to remind you all that in 2021, Council passed a resolution expressing solidarity with indigenous resistance to the Dakota Access Pipeline, where Council requested the mayor and police chief to keep Minneapolis police from participating in the Northern Lights Task Force. And while the last council formally, requested not having police involved as it relates to protests addressing environmental injustice, this council instead has chosen a path of silence, complacency, and apathy in response to our most marginalized communities' demands of a just and more humane project right here in their own backyards, not in North Dakota, but right here in Minneapolis and East Phillips. But this vote to terminate the contract gives this body another opportunity to both recognize and stop the harm we're imposing on our East Phillips residents. With this motion, we can ensure that working class residents in East Phillips and all across the city do not have to battle harsh winter conditions, like we're legit in the middle of a snowstorm, to protest and demand that this council actually honor the values and humanity of Native lives, of Black lives, and of brown lives. And for those reasons, I will be supporting Councilmember Chavez's motion to terminate and rescind the contract for demolition today.
Thank you, President. The city expansion plan for this site, someone who voted for the city plan, I tell you today, I will not be supporting the city taking over this site. Thank you. I have learned, I have listened, and this community are hurting.
Yours too.
Yeah. My community is hurting. Yep. The indigenous people deserve respect and their voice to be heard. I appreciate Councilmember Chavez for bringing this amendment forward to rescind and terminate the project. Back in March 2022, we had 8 council members who favor voting this site and giving the development rights for the East Phillips. Mayor vetoed it. Well, today you have the override veto and my vote. If those council members are willing to come back their plan in March, you will have 9 council members to move forward and give back this land to the community. I stand with you, Councilmember Travis, and I stand with you in the community. And it's okay. You can learn. You can learn. You can change your vote. It's the right thing to do.
I met with him personally, and he said he wants to partner with the American Indian movement to get rid of Can we
Yep.
hear from Council Member Chokai?
Thank you, Madam President. We've taken a lot of votes on this issue just in this term, and it's come up for discussion for votes a lot of times over the last year. And each time, I've seen only a handful of Little Earth residents in the room asking us to do something. And today, the entire chambers are filled with residents. This is the first time we've seen something like this happen in my time here. And that means something to me. I hope it means something to everyone else who's sitting on this dais and making decisions on this community's behalf. On Tuesday, I spent a lot of time in the evening with Councilmember Chavez in the East Village neighborhood at the Roof Depot site, and saw the interactions between the city and the community, and had a chance to talk with some of the residents who were arrested for being at that site. It is very clear to me that this is a decision that this community does not want, and it's one that is leading to more mistrust between the city and an already marginalized community. It's leading to increased violence, and I worry about how much that increases the more we continue down this path. So I am really thankful to Councilmember Chavez for finding the last tool to stop this demolition, and I'm proud to support you in this effort today.
Thank you.
When you make your decisions, please remember, why did you run? You ran to make a difference in our city. Support us. Why did you run in the first place? Why did you run?
Please, can we hear from the city attorney?
Sure. So, Council President, Council Vice President, members of the committee, the council does have the authority to order the termination of the contract. The contract, if you did vote to approve, you can vote to order its termination.
So the city attorney said you have the power. Let's see if people are here chanting.
And the contract terms would provide that the contractor would be entitled to receive payment for the work executed, and then costs incurred by reason of the termination, along with reasonable overhead and profit on the work not executed. I can't give you a dollar figure for what that might be, but there would be payments to be made as a consequence of termination of the contract.
We want to waste millions of dollars. It's not worth our lives.
It is not worth our lives.
Thank you, Councilmember. Thank you, City Attorney. Is there any further discussion on the Chavez motion? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll. I'm sorry, Councilmember.
Thank you, Chavez.
I just wanted to on the record as community has emphasized you cannot put a price on black and brown and native lives.
Right.
That is not.
You guys are putting a price on our lives. With a vote like this.
Yep.
If this was in your backyard, would you do this?
Mr. Clerk, can you please clarify the voting process for this motion?
Yes, Madam President, this is a motion to rescind and terminate a contract previously authorized. So it's a motion calling up a prior action. The vote to approve that then requires a 2/3 majority of all of the members present and participating in the meeting. With 12 members present today, there needs to be at least 8 affirmative votes to carry the motion forward.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. And seeing no further discussion, please call the roll.
Councilmember Shutton. Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellison.
Aye.
Councilmember Vito.
No.
Councilmember Rainville.
No.
Councilmember Goodness.
No.
Councilmember Walmsley.
Aye.
Councilmember Osmond.
Aye.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Councilmember Koski.
Nay.
Vice President Palmisano.
No.
President Jenkins.
Nay.
There are 6 ayes and 6 nays.
And
Still voting.
who are you? Come on.
Shame on you! Do this, Andrea!
We're not coming for you. Yes, ma'am, I would.
You had a choice! In your
You
backyard!
for your own people.
What do you know? Clean air or clean water? Choice!
This is a vote to resign.
You had a choice! We matter! You're trying to score it in the circle! Your son passed away! Your daughter passed away from Hiawatha! You're the president of this city! What a piece of shit!
She said she would put him in her own backyard.
She said she would put it in her own backyard! She will pollute her people!
Why would you kill your own people?
Why would you do it to her people? What is your problem, David? We will be
The city council would not rescind it. There were 6 no votes. I think there's an official zero. I'm probably upset, as you should be.
Shut the fuck up.
Step in your eyes! Say no! Everybody got that on video! Shame on you! You won't have it in your one out money on feed! And you don't care! You care more about your status! Native lives matter! We matter! Grandmother matters! Why did you run here? Just to even make a difference in communities? This is all native land. That is stolen land. It's ours. We don't deserve pollution. Many generations have things been taken from us. Everything taken from us. Our language, our freedom of speech. Don't you dare. You're not allowed to step fucking foot in our community ever again. You should know that.
Andrea, run! Andrea, do you remember asking me if I wanted clean air, clean water?
When a boozer is watching you,
You did it.
run!
On my son, you asked me that.
All you that voted no are run! How dare you even come back to that building?
Are you going to stop
You
driving
are
your
sick
car?
and pathetic!
You said, are you even going to stop driving your car? And I said, I will if you do.
That's her right there. That was right there.
Andrea Jenkins, you're a liar. You did it.
Don't you touch her. Sell us.
Guys, stay back.
Don't get your
Why
hands
not?
on
Just
her.
stay back. Stay back. It isn't hurt.
Please, you're contaminating her. You're contaminating her. Please don't contaminate her. Yes, it is. Watch us like it is.
We are fighting for our lives. Would be so sad. There's a bigger picture there. Where was you there? Battle the ball. Normandy, my papa. My papa.
Oh, you're proud of yourself.
And our sickest are on our own.
You're done.
When we start being sick,
You're fucking done, Jason. You're done. You're done.
James P. Quinlan. Look him up. Valor. James P. Quinlan. He fought to save lives. He got him to save. It's real. He fought for our country. And now we can't have a place for our
It looked like for a second they were going to resend the vote, and then it was that didn't happen. And you can see people are pretty upset as Minneapolis sort of fails the community again, sides with businesses, sides with the city as an entity over the people the city is supposed to represent. Super common Minneapolis move. But you can see there's some city council members who are very adamant to support the people, who are there, the people from the council.
And then they never voted again because of the dirty politics. Like, that's what people aren't understanding on the details. I mean, you can scream and shit like that, but you got to...
So now they're kicking everybody out of the meeting hall.
Everybody to clear the chambers, please. Everybody got to clear out. Everybody clear out.
Yeah, tie my shoe real quick.
Such BS.
This time
Thank you, Osmond.
That's okay.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you to you guys.
Hey, thank you, Pat.
Won't stop fighting.
Lonsley. Jason, you're the man.
We'll see you in court.
But you know what? The thing is the council voted for us, the mayor vetoed, and then none of the other council members except for really these guys, Osmond's new, but they never really want to go against the mayor ever since his new power. But they did vote for us one time. They voted for us. You know, same shit fucking years later. But you want to know, I want people to understand the details of it. You guys all voted for us one time. You guys voted in favor for our community. And when the mayor vetoed it, it's because of the dirty politics behind closed doors. I've had a council member who shared with Epney one time. He said, let me be honest with you guys. He said, when they closed them doors, they came to my office because I wanted to vote for you. He said, I wanted to vote for you guys. And I won't name him, but if he ever wanted to come forward, he can. But he said, I wanted to vote for you guys. He said, but they came into my office and basically they told me, you know that thing you want in your ward? That won't happen if you vote for Epney and the East Phillips community. And he had to vote no because his constituents matter too. So it's the dirty politics. It's Public Works who got a lot of power, the mayor who have a lot of power, and they go to our council members who support us and they tell them, you vote for them. And I'm telling you now, you won't get this in your ward. And that is what they're being told. So even though them assholes can do the right thing, I will tell you one thing. Goodman would never vote for us. Vital would never vote for us. Rainville, I thought we had a chance with. Palmisano never voted for us. There was a time where I was at the former city attorney's house at a party and ran into Palmisano. That's the only time I could get to her because she never returned our calls from Epney. We've been trying to call her for over 7 years. So Palmisano, Goodman, Rainville, and Vital, always a no. Those four, always a no. They don't like our community, and Goodman does have a grudge against East Phillips because she wanted a wood burner in our community. Carol Pass led the fight with community members years ago against her, and she's always hated Carol Pass. She hates East Phillips because she lost money on that deal. So know that there's reasons why these council members are doing it. It's because they will line their pocket if this is successful. I just want y'all to know that. There's details you guys got to know.
Thanks, Cass.
Let's get a picture of the council people who supported us.
Yeah. I can guarantee you those council members I named that voted against us, though, they were never threatened. They're the ones doing the threatening. Just so you guys know.
We want to thank the council members that did support us, that support our community, that support this fight, that support us protecting the land, our people, our ceremony, our prayer, that don't support the Minneapolis Police Department being militarized against prayerful, peaceful, sober, in ceremony people. So here they are. We want to acknowledge City Council here that supported us.
Where's Wansley? She left. She's missing from this picture, though. Thank you, guys. We're not going to stop fighting, though. So we hope you guys can talk to your council member people and just to tell them to do the right thing, because this shit's not gonna, it's gonna end badly if they keep moving forward.
Let's get their
It is.
permits pulled for demolition.
Wait, we're asking for a stay, for them to stop demolition until the court hearing. Andrea Jenkins was served yesterday, where the papers were given to our council member Jason Chavez, who accepted them. So she was served to do a stay to stop the demolition until our court hearing on Friday.
And what time is that tomorrow?
The court hearing is on Friday. Yep, tomorrow at 9 o'clock. And I shared a link on the Little Earth 411 page, my personal page, Cassie Holmes, EPNI Facebook page. There's the court link, and 100 people in the community are able to join on that link.
Okay.
You guys should
I'll
join
share
too.
that on my
You
page,
can.
guys.
We really appreciate everything you guys did, and we hope we can get your support for the acquisition of East Village Park for the Railroad Village.
Oh, wait. Question. Oh, what's up?
Yeah.
Gone too fast.
Thank you so much for standing
Yes.
up, in solidarity with our people and for all people.
I'm really sad that the BIPOC council member really is disrespectful to you guys. That's so sad.
Yeah. She's a sellout. She only cares about money over people.
Yeah, that's all she cares about.
Property over people. They need to remember why they were voted in the first place.
Exactly. In solidarity with them. Thanks, sir. Well, I just want to know also, Jason probably said, we're still taking up the second, but
Yeah.
community members out there are asking if we want to do like a quorum boycott, because they need 9 members. Thank you so much. In solidarity with the folks that they're kicking out. Thank you.
And what would that mean?
So that was the city council members who voted to rescind it. And now we're going to head into the hallway. We'll see how the connection sticks over there.
Right here. Yep, run the corner. There you go. Let's go visit the mayor.
So we're going to the mayor's office now.
They'll tell us.
But I think she was going to grab others to come out here.
The 6 that voted yes.
Yes, to come out here. And if they have enough, they can do it out here, right?
No, if there's enough people out here, there's not enough inside for a quorum.
Yeah, there's not enough people.
Oh, okay.
So they need the council members to do that quorum, to do that second vote.
And they said that Chavez was going to come out and tell us the second part of that.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll wait. Yeah, it's the second part of the vote.
Then we can go fry.
And I need a cigarette.
I need coffee.
Do you want to tell everyone kind of like what happened in there to summarize
These are community members too.
Yeah, so we still have one more to go. So there's the last vote is a legislative directive that will basically give our staff the ability to create a forum to end the Hiawatha campus expansion completely. So that vote is still happening. That vote has not been taken. So that's why we're in recess. When we come back from recess, that vote is going to happen.
How long is recess?
Until
They didn't tell
us. Yeah.
Well, until they clear the chambers. That's what. Yeah.
Until they clear the chambers?
Ain't it clear?
No.
The vote is to have staff come back to us and tell us exactly what votes would need to be rescinded in order for the project to be canceled at the site altogether.
Okay.
We the attorneys and the clerks don't know exactly which one we have to go back to because so many votes have been taken. That's why he's doing this.
Okay.
And so if that vote passes by a miracle, then the demolition can still happen.
Correct. The vote to stop the demolition failed.
Okay.
But this helps us tackle at the next council meeting the actual action needed to stop the project, which is separate from the actual demolition. Yes.
So to clarify, they can still demo, but the project could be canceled afterwards.
If we pass, so we have to pass this
That's
down.
bullshit, though. The demo still isn't going to be impactful. It's still going to be harmful for the community.
Yep.
There's arsenic and all kinds of toxins.
And we also just took that vote right now. So we're using every tool we have. The first one was to stop the demo, which was the priority right now. The second step is what community has been asking for, and that's to get rid of the project from our backyard. And that's what we're trying to do.
Does this new vote need a simple majority?
6-7 votes. 7, not 9.
7 votes.
Simple majority. So we need 7 votes, or yeah.
And don't forget, we got in the morning too, you guys. So we got our hearing in the morning, 9 a.m. for the temporary restraining order stopping them.
Yeah, and what about the quorum?
So if we don't make quorum, we won't take up that. I literally had a picture of Trinidad up on that screen
Move
when he
out
was
for a
alive and
second.
healthy, and of a scar, his scar when he had
This ain't the first talk about it.
Andrea Jacobs looked like she wanted to cry, but then it's like all a show, you know what I mean? But just know she's up for re-election, y'all. She's up for re-election. So my question is, when they're going to call this back? They get a 5-minute break? What is it, Jason?
They said that they were trying to clear out the chambers and then call the meeting back.
Aren't they clear?
I'm not here, so I don't know. I'll go check in.
It's clear. It's clear. It's clear.
But that's what
So does that mean we can't come back?
I can go figure that out.
Can you? Just a real quick clarification. It said no demo. What you're doing now is to stop the project. But stopping the project, wouldn't that be like no demolition then?
2 different things, right?
Okay.
The demolition, it's not that the city said we're approving demolition. The city said we're approving a contract to do the demolition, right? So the first vote we took was ending that contract, which we failed.
Okay.
The second vote, last night, my team and I, and some other council members, were working all night trying to find language to end the project completely. And we were talking to our attorneys. One of them is out. We don't know which, after so many motions that we've taken for the past 8 years, we don't know which one we need to end. So we were going to apologize. We were going to get told that we have the wrong thing on here. So what we did instead was bring a legislative directive that is directing our staff to give us the right information so we can actually take the actual vote to end the project completely.
And doesn't Karen's state law like help with that? Because it's a state law in East Phillips that they can't, any entity, when they come in, have to show what kind of cumulative pollution they're adding into our community, and they're not doing that. So isn't there any? That's what we're suing them for. Is there any way that like city council members can do that? Use Karen's state environmental justice law?
I mean, we're bringing it forward, right?
Okay.
So we're bringing it to a vote. I think people have their own opinions on like what they want to listen to and not.
Basically, like the public works in the city are telling the state, "Fuck you, we don't care about your laws."
But yeah, so that vote still needs to happen. We're going to reconvene. I don't have information on when we're reconvening, but that vote still needs to happen. And if it passes, then we'll get more information on like when we actually take the actual vote.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. We'll be here. We'll be waiting.
Okay. Cool. Well, thank you all.
Thank you. Let's go smoking. That's what I want to know.
Yeah, me too.
I need to use the restroom.
Stay in there. Let us know if they come back. I gotta go smoke.
I gotta use the restroom.
Okay, who needs the native translation of that? Just kidding.
Break it down.
We're gonna make our smoke signals up there.
All right, guys.
All right, so that was the vote. Was one of the votes, it sounds like. That was the vote to cancel the contract. It failed 6-6. I don't know the how it broke down. I think it'll probably be listed somewhere what city council folks voted for what on the public website. And it sounds like there's going to be another vote that they're trying to do that will slow down the current process. But we're not sure if they're going to reconvene or not. And so we're waiting to hear about that. It sounds like folks are taking themselves to outside, taking breaks, trying to decompress from this. The feelings in the hall were pretty intense. For being in there, you could feel the emotions rolling as the vote was happening and the discussion was happening. It was very apparent that a lot of people were very invested who were in that space. Not the city council. They felt like the folks that voted no seemed like they already knew what they were going to do and didn't seem to care too much. Even the candor of their vote was like, oh wow. But the people who are there to say no to the roof depot, you could tell that this is going to affect their lives completely, and that's why there was that outpouring of emotion when the vote failed to cancel the construction. And people just are well aware that their lives are just kind of being sold down the river. Let's see here.
That doesn't help me. We want to win the vote.
Let's see if I can-
You know, if they don't take it at all. But who's going to vote?
So the caravan here in the morning. I wasn't here in the morning when it started. I'm in a pretty big building that might drop signal.
That's not violence.
That is.
No, what he's doing is that's what he's doing is violence.
Yeah.
This is the mayor's
What
office.
Jacob
right
Freed's
here.
doing is what's violent. We're not being violent.
Contact.
Oh, you know that? I don't
You're
want
violent.
to.
You're the
I want to
law
right
wants
now.
you contact for yourself. Tell them
Could
what
you
we
go
want
inside
to hear.
and
We don't want no demo to happen.
Keep the peace, my ass.
Keep the peace, my gay ass. Yeah.
So, who should I talk to see the mayor?
It's always emails and things that you can send. There's a scheduler email that you can send an
I don't
email
think
to
it's-
request a meeting.
Let's see, so you can see the mayor's office.
And that's our job to keep the peace and say.
So I'm just kind of seeing where people are going.
Check out my car.
Hey! Oh, here we are.
Alright. Still live?
Still alive. I'm trying to set what to do. I don't know if I should just take it down for the interim. We'll walk down the stairs together. So how was that, Minneapolis politics? Oh, I know, right? It felt like, I was like, oh my god, they're actually going to do it. They're actually going to resend this thing. And then the people who said no was like, you could tell they were just flat emotion. I felt like really flat emotionless, like this decision for them was being made. They didn't care about what anything was being said. That was pretty intense.
I was actually kind of surprised, to be honest. I wasn't. You know, I was like, oh, they're just kicking it down the road.
Yeah.
For another pizza.
I'm talking to Nick Estes right now, rolling down the stairs. But yeah, I was there too. I was like, oh my gosh, they're going to overturn it. Like, it's really going to happen. Like, I didn't think Minneapolis. And then I was like, no. And the vote was even worse. Like,
Didn't think it would get worse, and then it did.
yeah, I was like, oh my gosh.
It's
Well,
like
here's.
doubling down.
I know. I had to shovel for like an hour before I can get here. Well, let's show you what everyone had to come through to get here. And then I'll probably take the feed down. I might stick around for a while. We'll see what happens, if anything, next. Here it is. The outside situation.
Every single race that came in as refuge, I remember from a little girl, we accepted them in there.
Here's something they should know, it's like 15 years ago, maybe even closer to 20 years ago when this all started with farming and that, urban farming. I was at a meeting on 22nd at the old Ringmar building, and there was the Latino community was there, and they said they refer to East Phillips as the seven corners of death, because when they moved there, their elders died. And one of the things they didn't know was about the arsenic. And we had to tell them to start building their beds high. But that's how the Latino community refers to East Phillips, as the seven corners of death, because they lose their elders when they move there because of the air. You can't breathe. You can't eat anything from the soil. All of that. It's like they think we're fighting for just us. We're fighting for everybody.
Yeah. And for people, for the next generation that has to deal with something somewhere else, if they see this happening, then they're going to step up and say, we can do it too.
They're killing us all.
And for any person of color to vote against us is just,
Wrong.
they're disillusional.
Wrong.
Something's going on. And I know it comes down to having stuff in your neighborhood, but when does the my back, your back scratching stop?
Right.
It should stop right here. When people's health and well-being is at risk. It really should.
Where does Jacob Fry live? Does he live in Minneapolis or
He lives in Uptown.
Yeah.
Don't he?
Yeah.
Uptown?
Because there was a bunch of shootings outside of his house not even a year ago, and that's when we all found out where he lived. But
So we know where you live,
He's
Jacob
originally
Fry.
from Virginia.
So he ain't even from here? We have somebody.
If you do the research, he's not even
Your
from
mom?
here.
No, I think she's still inside.
He's not even
But he's
from
not
here, you
from
guys.
here.
He's
He's
not
not born
from
here.
here. He's
He's
not
not rooted
born here. Like, why do we have somebody running and at the head making so many decisions? The other night he made a decision for all the police to come out for us at a peaceful protest.
We were doing nothing wrong, nothing criminal, no alcohol, no drugs. You know, we were in ceremony, no weapons.
And a young Indian girl and another person got shot. A young Indian girl got shot and killed over Northside 10 minutes into that.
And no one to come to them.
They didn't go. And there were shots fired at the camp, outside the camp in the neighborhood there. 7 shots went out earlier in the day. Not one single cop showed up, but they come militarized to arrest peaceful, prayerful people who are in ceremony.
We're going down. Going downtown.
Can you,
I'm going to go back in.
The one thing
I don't know.
Yeah, they're going to sit there and let people back in.
I'll go
Jason
back.
Sam, they'll allow the 30 people back in again.
I mean, they should allow us to event too.
We didn't do nothing.
No.
Your shoes untied.
No, thank you. I'm doing my best. My shoes untied. So we're just drifting around here. That was a conversation going on the steps. You can see the snow. And
we filled their chambers.
I think
They only allow 30 of us in. The rest were all in the hallway.
so. There's gonna be another vote. I think that vote. I think the city council should be live streaming it. I think I'm gonna take this down for now. I'll try to track what's going on. Just a big heads up. I'm gonna be heading to Wounded Knee for the 50th anniversary of Liberation Day, the occupation of Wounded Knee, right tomorrow. So I won't be on the ground here. So definitely follow all those feeds there in the description. Defend the Depot, EPINI for updates. People are going back up. I'm probably just going back up. I'm pretending I'm not. But yeah, let's just go back up. We'll keep it live. Let's go. I gotta walk. I can't. I'll lose my signal, so I'm just gonna watch you all leave. Where are y'all going?
Back to the meeting.
All right.
Yep.
I'll meet you there.
Yep.
All right, people are going back to the meeting. That's what I figured. Just 1 second. Hey, I'm just gonna stay live. Folks can still meet and just work on aligning where everyone's at and different projects are moving forward. Thanks for all the support. I just kind of feel like I should probably stay here for a bit, so I'm gonna keep doing that. But yeah, still meet, still talk, just figure out how to align ourselves a little better, and much respect. All right. Whew.
Mayor locked his doors after we. They were open when we came, but he locked his doors now.
How you feeling?
Hyper?
Hyper?
Trying to keep it under control.
Yeah.
A staffer confirmed that the mayor's
Oh, there's a drink. Can I slide by you?
There they go, running scared.
Cowards!
Cowards!
Cowards! Cowards! Genocide on skin color!
So it looks like they reconvened the meeting to adjourn it. So they didn't
We're not done! We are going to focus
adjourn the
on
meeting?
the demolition site. There will be a protest on Monday from 7 to 9 a.m.
people should join Little Earth residents and the Climate Justice Committee and organizers and the East Institute. Thank you, the East Phillips Neighborhood Institute. 7 a.m. on Monday, February 27th. We will be on the site. We will be watching the site, and we will be there to stop the demolition.
Corn tomorrow.
Yeah. 2 p.m. Sunday, 27th and Longfellow. Block
This
party.
is Steve Sandberg. He's been in the fight with Ethne for many years as well.
Along with Cassie, we're on the board, and we're not stopping to fight. We're not stopping the fight now.
No,
that's right. Let's go visit the mayor and ask if it's okay to militarize the Minneapolis Police Department on peaceful, prayerful, sober people in ceremony.
They don't have enough police to help people who are getting robbed.
They don't come to our community for our missing, murdered Indigenous women, for our women being trafficked.
I just want to say, y'all need to think about what you're a part of. Think about what you're a part of. You know what I mean? Literally killing kids. But not only that, keeping people out of there. That's literally fascism. I don't know if your family fought in World War II or whatever, you studied history once, but just think about what you're a part of. That's all I'm going to say.
Excuse me.
We are out here have a meeting with our elders.
Stop the demo!
Oh, yeah,
Should we hang him upside down? Oh, you can't take him down.
That's Secretary Trey. He's the one who vetoed it to allow this to go forward. They're trying to. He's actually in this part of the building. That's his office, and right now they're trying to bring him out. We'll see how.
You don't have to interview.
Don't peacefully. Really not peacefully.
He should give us a. You think that I'm not in this? No more death. And he should give us a meeting. He should meet with us. We deserve that. Open up, Fry! Meet with our elders.
So there's people
We are requesting that you meet with our elders.
at both doors knocking.
Well, if the stage out, he has to go home. Let's go by his house.
This is his house. He's his house. Let's do it here.
Go to his house.
Have a meeting with our elders. You don't have to have a meeting with everybody. Open up, Fry. Hear our elders out. You're a coward, Fry.
Come out, Fry.
Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry. Come out, Fry.
Go in.
Come out, Fry. 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 Come listen to our elders. We deserve that. Meet with our elders. Meet with our elders. Join them.
they're calling for a backup here. They're coming to militarize this target again.
Come on, Jacob!
Come on, Ricky!
If you're on the side with the light rail, then you should take a left.
Come on, Jacob! Be a man, Jacob!
So again, we're in Minneapolis, Minnesota. There was a city council hearing. They're trying to stop the demolition of this depot. It's on top of a pile of arsenic. They don't want it to be destroyed. They'll release the arsenic into the community. It's already super impacted by pollution. It has grandfathered in industry in the neighborhood. And people now are trying to demand me with the mayor who vetoed the decision. And the veto actually would allow this to go forward. The city council originally voted to stop it, but then the mayor used his powers. So I think our recent, the veto powers, I have to like look, but I'll check and share more about that to veto it. And now people are just still staying here.
Trying to demand a meeting for our elders.
With our so-called mayor.
With the mayor
Right on the other side of this door.
The mayor in the city of Minneapolis who's supposed to work for our people. Not work for money. They're supposed to protect the people, not property.
Not fucking developers.
Not developers, not money. Money is an illusion of power. The only real power is with the earth.
And the people.
And that's why our people, we get our power from the earth. That's why we stand here and we fight for the earth. This land that we're on is stolen, unceded land. Treaty land. Treaty land that was never honored by the United States government under Fort Snelling. Signed with the Dakota people. Payment and resources were supposed to be sent to the Dakota people and they were never received. Treaties work both ways. It's sovereign nation to sovereign nation. There's terms on both sides. Terms that are set to help and protect the United States and to help our people as sovereign people. Treaties are the original law of this land. Read the Constitution. These treaties were never honored.
Meet with our elders. Hi.
Here they come, militarizing the system against us like they always do.
Not physically, but we'll be there. The little pussy that he is, the lying motherfucker he is, he's got the white, the great white father syndrome. He knows what's better. He knows what's best for his little brown children.
He's supposed to be calling us back. He ignores us.
Peter
We gotta go ahead and speak.
Oh, he's another little liar.
He made promises and he ignores. We could leave.
I think he's security for that guy.
Run security.
He's the one who got
You remember me. He works with the MPD.
When we kicked him to fly out of the...
Yeah,
Are you
that's a
with
reason. Shame.
You know, I opened up when Brian O'Hara was sworn in. They asked me to open up the ceremony because we were going to change our relationship with the Minneapolis police. It was a fresh start, and he wanted me to start organizing a town hall for our community to meet with him. Well, I talked to them yesterday and I said, that's done. That is done. We are not going to have a town hall. Jacob Fry is never going to be allowed in our community ever again.
Never.
Wherever we see him, he's never allowed in Southside. Ever. So until something else happens, I said, no town hall. I do not want the chief of police in my community until something changes. And what we seen the other night, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. And I invited him to the encampment. No phone call back, nothing. Then when they did call back, oh, I'm sorry we didn't get a hold of you. That's what it was, I'm sorry. And so I called it off, we're not going to do it. And we'll just see what happens now. But nothing's changed. They're just as brutal, just as dishonest as they've always been. And the American Indian movement started here 55 years ago because of the police brutality against Native people. And here we are, still fighting it.
Nothing's changed.
Still fighting it. Social injustice, environmental injustice. We're always at the shitty end of the stick.
We are.
Why is that?
Why?
This is native land. Jacob comes here from who the hell knows where, thinking
Virginia.
he's a great white savior, knows what's best for us. Oh, now
Most
he's
of
really
us are
scared.
old enough to be his grandma
And
or
he's
his mom.
especially afraid of you, Ikwe, our women.
Yeah.
That's where the power lies, because he doesn't realize that our women are our leaders. Once they gave the word, we were just waiting for it. The grandmas, the aunties, the sisters, the mothers, they said, Roof Depot, and we were there. That's who we waited for. That's who gives the orders around here, is them. So that's who you should be afraid of. Right here, look at this power standing right in front of me.
Woo!
Right here. So if you have Jakey's number, because I gave it out to everybody, they all got his cell phone number. So give him a call, tell him to come out. We'll be peaceful, like we always
And not
are.
everybody has to go in.
Our elders.
Just our elders.
Go ahead, give him a ring. And believe me, we are planning such an occupation that you will never be able to come in.
It's not an unreasonable request.
Yes, the occupation we plan next will be surprised. It'll get national attention.
It will be held down. Research Wounded Knee, and then you know.
You can end this now.
This can be ended now.
Yup.
Yeah,
We are human.
We have been nothing but peaceful the whole time. We're asking him to meet
Give him a
with
call,
our
tell him to
elders.
come out.
We followed every process, every protocol that the system has in place. And no surprise, the system has failed us.
Time after time after time.
Well, can you call the mayor and say you're making a mad mistake?
He only shows up when we're doing a fundraiser or something. He doesn't come on regular business.
His token photos when he needs a vote. He got a little taste at the MMIW march. He better not fucking step foot in Southside ever again.
He doesn't need to be there. He doesn't need to be there.
Maybe we move it to your community. Would you like that? Absolutely. You would want to
Watch them words.
No. If you want to move that this topic to your community.
To your homes.
Oh my God, he knows nothing about it.
I told you that project is a 3-story parking garage.
We had a master plan.
Yeah, he don't even know what's going on.
He knows exactly what's going on.
Kevin Costner over there, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Jacob Fry's personal security who works with
We're in Minneapolis, Minnesota at this time.
So I say keep it live. I don't really know what's going to happen. That's what lives are like. And that's what's going on. You see people aren't moving. They're just continuing to stay and hold this space.
And they were like, everyone had to call in to say we want our 3-minute spot, right? The Mayor Fry didn't do that. And he thought he could just come in and expect that he was going to get a platform in our community. And we're like, no, you had to, you and your people had to call in just like everyone else who's running to get that platform. And then he wrote a letter telling everybody that the indigenous community in East Phillips was racist towards him because he was Jewish and we didn't allow him to speak. That's what he wrote. We had community members. Yes. We had community members like Jana Mechi, who was like, Cass, what is going on? Why am I getting this letter from the mayor? I said, so let me educate you guys because he's misleading you. He didn't call in and do what he was supposed to get a platform in our community. We're not going to just give it to him because he's the mayor.
But we still offered him at the end, the ones who didn't sign up, like the ones who declared running after we had sent that out, we offered them all 1 minute. And we offered him it and he didn't show up. But that letter she's talking about, you guys, he sent it to all of our bosses who were on that committee.
Mud, like basically the mud committee.
And that, but everybody's boss but mine, because I work for Make Voting a Tradition and Robert Lilligren is my boss. And when I told him we were having problems, he tried to engage the mayor and his aides to get there. So he didn't send it to my boss because he knew my boss already knew that he was lying, a liar.
Yep. But here's Soren, who's running against Andrea Jenkins. He's also a survivor of police brutality. So we need to make sure that people know.
In 2020, he got shot with a rubber bullet and lost an eye, but he's running against Andrea Jenkins.
It's going to be hard for a cis white male heterosexual.
Yeah.
Damn.
But I'm two-spirit, and I'm going to support anybody who's from my community and against her.
Yeah.
So she looked me in my eye today and said I was a liar. And I said, you did say that to me, Andrea. You did ask me if I want clean water and clean air. She's like, no, I didn't. I said, yes, you did. Yeah.
You gotta wear red for the third season from now on.
I'm a mouse with a crap on his face.
Rise again.
I know he probably snuck off there. He's already in back doors or something. Probably not right. That's why he ignores us. Well, he calls the police, probably calling all Minneapolis.
Oh, he probably is.
For the pig?
I'm your elder. Here. This is what we need. Fighting for Roof Depot. No demo.
No demo.
No demo.
No demo.
No demo!
No demo.
No demo!
We got babies. We got babies. We got elders.
No demo! 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 Jacob is a coward! Jacob is a coward! Go back to Virginia! Go back to Virginia!
The whole panel's gone. Just so coward. Just so coward, and this is who's in charge.
Is this the chief of police coming back here?
Militarizing the Minneapolis Police Department against us again?
Yeah. Trying to come from all over.
We need someone to make everyone uncomfortable, right? And willing to go to jail. Yeah? That's not me. That's not me. I'll record this for sure. I'll be like, I'm gonna run.
The Israeli Defense Force comes in and smashes it. That's what's going on here, it's genocide. And of all people who committed it,
I was talking to him because I was like, what you want?
He's the mayor.
Thank you for your help.
see, look at this, like the nose, right up next to you.
Every single time.
Sugar and bean here.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just like they waited to do the thing. when there was
I felt
only women
sorry.
left in the camp.
I know. It's like, how did they know?
It's like
that
they
camera
had that
up there?
camera.
Yeah.
And they knew there was only women left in the camp, and that's why they went in there, because they didn't want to deal with men.
I believe you're right.
They
That
had a
camera, right?
there. They
That
knew
camera?
the men had left to go gather
Literally,
stuff.
And I just walked out. I told Nicole, I said, I'll be right back. I'm taking Buddy home. As soon as
Everybody.
I get home, I get a text from somebody saying, brother, they're going right by the shelter.
Yeah.
Just lit up. I said, I got to go. Back in and, you know.
I'm glad Buddy wasn't there, though.
Yeah.
Because he would have been been traumatized, and he would want to protect.
Yep.
Because they're coming with such aggressive, and their aura so
evil.
so bad
Yeah, that's
that
what it
he's gonna want to protect.
Yep.
I'm so glad he wasn't there.
Why do they always attack us when it comes down? They don't know, man.
Somebody here.
Cowards.
Come meet with our elders, Pride.
Where's the crawler on in there?
Trying to wait.
Come on, shake up. Yeah. All the droppers.
Yeah.
What happened to their open door policy?
And everyone left, and he was like, hey, will you walk with me up to the mayor's office? And I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. I'll support you. Let's go. Excuse me. So we come up here, and there was one person here that was from the media, and he went up first, and then someone came out like, oh, you're here for the media for Jacob Fry? And he's like, well, yeah. And she's like, are you with these guys, with East Phillips and stuff? And he's like, I'm from the media. And then we're like, we want to talk. I was like, I want to talk to the mayor. My name's Cassandra Holmes. And she's like, and? I said, okay. I said, well, I'm an East Phillips community member. I said, Little Earth. I said, want to talk to the mayor. And Daniel and Vivi were like, we're from East Phillips too. And then we stayed, and then I had to pick up kids, so I left. But Daniel stayed from East Phillips. He was like wanting to see. Someone went out to the back and took a picture, and the mayor was sneaking out the back. He would not come talk to Daniel from East Phillips.
You guys, there's a back door. He probably snuck out with his.
Was that you?
Crybaby
No, a
ass.
couple of months back in like September, he came down like the front doors and he walked by us and he's like, "Hey guys, how's it going?" And we're like, "You're fucking poisoning the residents of East Phillips. How do you think it's going, asshole?"
Right? What
And he like called this woman like a liar to her face. He he put his finger in her face and he's like, "You gotta stop saying things that aren't true."
No, that is true, and we have scientific facts that it's true.
Slap
I mean,
us.
they dug up over 500 yards because of how toxic it was.
Yep.
Yeah, the dirt. They dug up the dirt.
Had beautiful gardens,
And they had, and the staff had hazmat suits on.
Yeah.
Karen Clark was like number 30 in the list, and when they asked her to sign her paper to dig up the yard, she was walking across her yard, and they said, "No, don't walk on there. That's toxic."
Yep.
She's like, "Well, I've been walking on it for years. I'm gonna come sign this so you can dig it up." And this is the same arsenic we're talking about. So it's a fact. It's toxic.
But they make it seem like it's a different. It's a
No.
arsenic light.
And they don't have. They say they're gonna do. So supposedly, I don't know if they're gonna do.
Light if you won't get drunk.
So supposedly, they said they're gonna do like real time monitoring for a particulate matter, but it's not the particulate matter that's really the dangerous one for us, and it's not going to be real time information given to community members who are going to have to evacuate when the shit hits the fan, and they can't answer those
And they're not
questions.
even going to let that go. They're just going to probably.
They're going to wet it down and hope that much dust don't get in the air.
Right.
And I asked the mayor. We were in a meeting in here. They only allowed like 3 of us to come in. Our 4 of us. So it was our architect, me, Joe Vital, and Karen Clark. And we,
Who's the architect?
Dean DeValis, and he's world-renowned architect. So we go into this meeting and I asked them, how can you guarantee that my community is not going to be poisoned? Like, whatever safety hazmat suits you give your staff, are you going to give it to us?
Right.
And he was like, they couldn't answer that. They could not answer any of our questions about the safety questions we have for our community. They could not. And just so you guys know, that I don't know if I should be saying this, but I'm gonna fucking say it. I don't care. We recorded that conversation.
Ooh.
We recorded it.
Yeah, last meeting I had with Jacob said, no, you can't record it. If you record it, we're not going to have the meeting.
Well, we recorded it. So.
They're not engaging by now. If he was in there and people been here by now, and they'd have been arrested.
So let's talk with our elders.
And we lost the city council. So
I'm just kind of wandering back and forth, listening to the conversations. You're listening with me. Thanks for being there. Minneapolis, Minnesota, Roof Depot, resistance. Roof Depot is continuing to go on.
They never came back with any answers, and then they had the MOU saying the community did this, and that was not true. Yep. EPNY had to step forward and say that is not what we agreed to, and we would never agree to something without talking to the community first.
Isn't that fraud?
Yeah, because EPNY always has to answer to our community first. We can't make that decision, but we have to say, community members, is this okay with you? And if the majority of people who show up say this is what we want, yes, then we'll come back to the table. But we would never make a decision without our community.
Bad faith all around.
This might be. Can you like summarize what happened today? Just for people who are watching.
Just that Jason Chavez, we had he had put forth a motion to stop demolition and also to stop paying Rachel contract. To stop paying Rachel contract, which would stop demolition, and another motion to stop the plan altogether, and it was a 6-6 vote. We had Chavez, Chugtai, Wansley, Osmond, Payne. Who was the other one? Osmond, Chugtai, Wansley, Payne, Osmond, Ellison. Thank you. They all voted for us. Of course, Andrew Johnson was not here, which I believe if he was here, he might have done the right thing because he's always voted yes for us. This last vote before these votes, he was the first time he ever voted no against us. And why, I don't know. When he's always stood up for the indigenous community, and I don't know what changed his mind, and I don't know why he's here today, but I think if he was here, he probably could have been that vote that put us over the threshold for the community. And I feel like that he punked out, and he needs to be held accountable, even though he's not running again, but he needs to be held accountable.
And what's coming now? I mean, what can people do? How can people stay involved? How can people keep raising awareness about this?
Reach out to your council members, because they can always come back to the table and say, let's do another motion. They can do that anytime they want. They have the power to do that and the right to do that, and they can override the mayor's veto. We just need the majority. So reach out to your council members. The ones that voted no against us is Vitale, Goodman, Rainville, Palmisano, Jenkins, there's another one, Koski. They all voted no. So reach out to your council members. Reach out to the mayor, which I just don't even think he gives a shit at this point who calls him, but reach out to him and tell him that you want to support the community in East Phillips Neighborhood Institute in the East Phillips Indoor Farm. You could always come down to the Roof Depot site, because we are still going to be there holding space to stop this demolition, and we need people to come out in numbers and reach out. And then just know that Andrea Jenkins and other people are running again, and they do have people running against them, and if they don't, they need a majority of a DFL vote to get put in to be, and so they need 60% if they have no one running against them. So
The governor, lieutenant governor.
we've been trying to reach out to them, and that's sad because they've their platform was going to every single reservation in the state of Minnesota and getting indigenous votes, and they got in, and now when we need them, I have not heard from them. We have not heard from them, not even I. We have not heard back from them.
There's places people can physically show up to support, right?
The Roof Depot.
Yeah, and does anybody know the dates? There's like a...
The 27th is the day that the contractors gave the judge when we were in mediation with them. So EP and I, with our lawyers, Liz Royal, Miles, Ring, I'll mess it up. Sorry.
It's okay.
So we talked with our elders. It's obvious that Fry is not going to meet with us today. It's obvious that they're scared of our people, our power. So scared, in fact, that they won't even meet with our elders, our women and our leaders from our community. And so our elders decided that we're going to leave here today. We're going to all walk out together. We're going to focus on the court hearing tomorrow at 9 for the temporary restraining order to stop actions with the demolition. We're going to focus on these events, these rallies that we have planned for Sunday and Monday, and then keep a lookout, because this fight isn't over. We're not going to stop. We're not going to let the system continue to oppress and hold down and militarize against our people and our prayers and our ceremonies. We're going to stay here. We're going to protect our children. We're not going to stop fighting. So thank you.
Buy your chains. We may have to chain ourselves to fences. Oh yeah.
Can you what are the events that are
Chain
coming
ourselves
up?
to fences.
I can send you the links.
Okay, sounds good.
So there is a kind of like rally plan for Sunday where we're going to have like resources for our unhoused and those who are facing evictions from the city of Minneapolis.
I don't know who's
and
I have someone
and then there's a rally on Monday too, and those are both at Roof Depot.
Sounds good.
27th and Long.
Well, let's keep following as we can.
Maybe they can set something up. Go where the house is.
All right, everybody. This is Lorenzo, I'm the director of Tactical Media here at the NDN Collective. We're here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. You saw everything that just went down. People are continuing to resist the roof depots. Demolition and consequential, if it's demolished, will pollute this area even further, which is already under a lot of stress, environmental stress. Lots of conversation about environmental wrestlers, and I'm going to head down with everybody. Again, if you can follow those websites we've been sharing, I think they're in the description. I don't think I'm going to be here in the next few days. I'm going to be heading towards the 50th anniversary of the occupation of Wounded Knee, Liberation Day, and the Pine Ridge Liberation. And so I just want to make sure people are aware of that and our coverage while we go ongoing. Might as thorough next couple of days. And a lot seems to be going on. So if you are in the area, they're calling for people to come out to the Roof Depot on 2 separate occasions. There's also a hearing tomorrow to try to create some sort of legislative hurdles to slow down the demolition. It sounds like city council members are, they're actually, some of them are very adamant and passionate about going to try to stop this, saying they're hearing the community. One person changed their votes. Good work. So. Thanks for I know, but I was watching. I'm watching. All right, everybody. We're going to take this up. We're going to go outside, show you the winter situation. This is right after, I think, over 2.
Snowstorm that people drove through to be here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's that snowstorm out here. God damn.
I got my car stuck.
Oh, no.
All right.
Just want to go to...
I'm going to step away, and then we'll do...
What happens in tomorrow's court hearing, and then let's meet tomorrow.
All right, everybody. I'm Lorenzo Sedana, director of Tactical Media here at the Union Collective. My pronouns are they, them, I'm Chicanx.
Been here a couple days now following the continued movement to stop the demolition of the roof depot, to defend the land and the future, for the future generations. What's up? Oh, they're going to demolish this building, and the community doesn't want it to be demolished because it's on top of a bunch of arsenic, and it's going to be released into the community, so people are trying to protest it. Yeah, just letting you know. Yeah. All right, you take care. Just talking to people walking by. So yeah, we're going to try to keep up with what's going on. I would do like a summary, but I feel like a lot's just happened in the past few days. But the people are going to continue to do what they can to raise awareness and to physically stop this. It sounds like people are very openly saying they're going to stop and occupy the space even further. There was already an occupation, and they said that one wasn't intended to hold, they weren't going to hold space, but they planned to hold space the next time if they're forced to do it. The city council was really aware of this, saying that the city, by pushing this forward, is instigating violence against the community, and the community has no choice. It can go through the city council hearing and listen to those speeches and what people were saying and why they're doing their best to kind of support the stopping of this demolition. Yeah, I don't know. I wish I had better news. That's all I got for you right now. I'm Lorenzo Sarda, and just keep following the Indian Collective, but also, like I said, there's a good chance I'm not going to be here the next few days. I'm going to be in South Dakota for the 50th anniversary of the occupation of Wounded Knee. People here were calling that out too, saying that they're going to be celebrating that event by maybe taking space here in Minneapolis to defend their land and their water in the future. And they have no choice. Like, these things happen because people are put in positions where they have no choice but just to use their body. And that's what's happening here in Minneapolis again. So just keep following. Again, talk to you soon. Hey, much respect. Thank you for talking to me, and thanks for everything.
Okay, and then at 9.
All right, I'm taking this down.
I'll take one.
From our funds from the camp, we bought. We bought.